Well, hey there, my friends. Welcome back to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, and today I'm working with a new technology and it's driving me crazy, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But I'm just being honest with you. So thanks for being here. I'm so excited to have you here. Happy to be in your earbuds or on your wherever you're listening to me. Thank you for listening. Today I am going to be sharing 4 areas that we all need to have under control. Like any business anywhere needs to have under control. If you ever want to sell, expand, maybe open another location, maybe grow, maybe have an opportunity and be ready for those opportunities if they present themselves, be ready to have that yes, be able to do it and not feel like, oh, things are too messy or I can't do it. And I also want to share with you that we should never say never about selling, which is something some retailers say to me. I really, truly 100% want you to understand we should be, I don't say should lightly, we should be building brands that are sellable, that are considered an asset of our, like that we're building an asset, not just a job. And they shouldn't depend just on you, if that's what's going through your mind. And never say never. Never say never. I would never sell my business. And I tell you that sometimes life's things happen. Kind of maybe egotistical of us to think that like nothing is going to ever happen to us. And we have this beautiful shield in front of us of life not lifing around us, but sometimes life happens in cool ways and opportunities come up. And sometimes we are looking at retirement, or sometimes we are looking at just the right opportunity to go do something else or whatever. This is something I would love everybody to listen to and pay attention to. And even if you never, ever decide to sell, it's going to die with me, or it's going to go with me, or I'm going to just close it. It's still the best way for an opportunity. These 4 things I'm going to share with you today are the best way if opportunity presents itself. Again, another shop or expansion or a partner or collaboration. We don't know. You don't know what's down the road. So I'm going to share with you 4 things that every retail business needs to have in order to sell or in order to expand or in order to be super strong. And these have come up again and again. And recently, really quick story, recently I had 2 different clients come to me and they are ready to retire. They're ready to sell their businesses. One of them had all of these things pretty much tickety-boo. And I'm really pleased by that. It's a client and we've been working together for a few years. And the other retailer doesn't and didn't have a lot of these things in order. So retirement has actually been pushed out quite a bit because she sees the value in making sure that these things are cleaned up and in order. So hope I have your attention. I hope they all make sense. I'm not going to make you do any hard work, I promise. Maybe just a little. Anyhow, let's get into it. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. Okay, never say never. And many of you know, if you've been listening for a while, that I ended up, I never thought I would ever sell my coffee shop. When I had my coffee shop, I loved my coffee shop. It was wonderful. It was doing well. It was financially viable. Everything was awesome. However, life lifed and my husband's business was expanding and my kids were young and I decided to sell it to a client. to a customer, one of my coffee shop customers. Same thing happened with running Front Porch Mercantile, running the retail business. I was doing so many things. I was working with brands. I was a coordinator. I was traveling. I was teaching all over. I was coaching, and the opportunities, some opportunities that I may never have seen coming, just made it so that my store needed somebody else to run it. So we franchised at that time. So I want to just tell you that I am in your shoes as far as, or understand when we think I will never sell or I will never, but never say never. We do really need to make sure that our business is prepared and as healthy as possible for any awesome opportunity that comes to us. So on that note, here are some of the things that I see that we have to have in order. And I've also sold a couple of other businesses. My husband and I have sold another business. So I'm honestly coming from a place of experiencing all of this. Plus, I have helped retailers I don't go through the whole process of selling with them. However, I have seen the difference in what happens in the value of a business. And it breaks my heart. I'm not kidding. It breaks my heart sometimes when I see that retailers have great businesses or great brands or great stores, and they don't have a lot of these things in place, and they want to retire, they want to sell, they want to expand, they have opportunities. So again, hope I have your attention. So one of the first thing that we're going to talk about is understanding systems and making sure that your business is running on systems, and that is eyeball rolling, right? We're like eyeball rolling. So I want you to think of the reason that would be is if you can actually show that your business is running in flow and everything is cool, and maybe those systems are all in your head right now and everything is running on flow and everything's flowing, everything's moving great, things are happening, things happen, the business has been running whether it's a year or 10 years. However, it's all in your head maybe, and it's not documented or it's not systemized. And I want you to think of like a bakery. If you had a fabulous bakery and you were making pies and chocolate chip cookies and you want to sell the bakery, but all the recipes are in your head and you're just like, well, you just make them up, right? You just do it yourself. So I want you to think of all of the systems in your business like recipe cards. We need to have a whole lot of recipe cards and systems in place that have things written down. And it can be, just as simple as making sure that how we keep track of our inventory. That's a system. How do we order? How do we keep track of it? How do we enter it? Just all of the things. All of the things I'm going to share with you today will make your business and your brand so much stronger, I promise. So inventory, customer service, how you train your staff, how we open the shop, how we unpack boxes, all of those daily things that are in your policies and procedures and your shop standards manuals, and all of those things need to be documented. And if you think about it, think if you were buying a business and you just wanted to walk in and buy a business, it is so much more valuable if you can just say, here's the playbook, here's what we do. So we also want to be able to understand if a new buyer, again, I'm saying new buyers, but also if the bank or if a bank wants to lend you money, how professional do you look if you can just show them that, oh, we have this all organized. Oh, we do all this, everything will happen. If you want to take your business and expand it, we want to build we're going to open a second location. We cannot open a second location if the first one doesn't have these recipe cards all in place. We need to be able to take those recipe cards over to the new shop and say, here's our system. You all know that franchises work that way. You all know that, the McDonald's of the world have systems and playbooks, and this is how we do things. It's the same for your current business. We want to make sure you have a playbook, a policies and procedures manual, your shop standards in place. This is how we do things here. This is how they're done. Here's the recipe cards. So don't overthink it, but start asking yourself and thinking about what systems do we need to put in place. And I promise you, as unsexy as this is like the least fun thing. It does get to be fun, and it does help, and it does feel good when you put these things in place. Okay, the second one. This is going to seem like a no-brainer, but having a financially healthy business is important. Now, when I say this to people, they're like, well, what's a healthy number? And, maybe we haven't been profitable or we have been profitable. It's not always about the profitability or the money that you make or the revenue or the top line. It is about demonstrating where the money's coming in and where the money's going, having an organized and not messy accounting system, having, your QuickBooks or your Xero or something set up, having a POS system that talks to that system, having viability so that if I come into your business and I want to buy it or I want to give you money to expand, or again, if you're thinking of opening a second one, we're not opening a second one until the first one is like flowing perfectly. Never open a second business. It's not going to help you if your first business is not flowing beautifully. So we want to make sure that we have, our inventory under control, our bookkeeping under control. Again, I want to look and see if I was buying your business. I want to be able to go in and I want to look and I want to see, oh, okay, well, I see where the money's coming in. I see where it's going out. I see where the opportunities are for me to make changes, because that's what new owners always do. And, and I see that there's possibility if I push the gas here or I do this or I, have to do it. If it's not, and it also clearly needs to indicate how much money, you're making as the owner, how much profitability the business has. Messy bookkeeping, if you're not operating with business accounts, that is one of the first things that needs to change. We do not run retail businesses and professional brands out of our personal bank accounts or out of, it just can't. We also should be looking at our numbers on a weekly or monthly basis and understanding where the money's going. Again, these are all the things that we teach inside of my Retailers Inner Circle program. Module number 2 is fully dedicated inside the front end course, which is Retail Made Simple. Of that course, it's fully dedicated to understanding where your money's going and understanding how to read your numbers. So if you're one of those retailers that are listening, and I know I have a lot of retailers who are like, kind of putting their head in the sand around that and just looking at the numbers. And I have a bookkeeper to do that. And I look at my numbers at the end of the year. That's not how we run thriving retail businesses. And that is the difference. Those two retailers that came to me and, earlier we were talking about, one of them knows the numbers, knows where the money's going. Even if the numbers aren't fabulous, at least they're clean, right? Clean numbers, understanding your numbers, understanding and having all of that in front of you and looking at them and understanding that you can show this to me and you can show it. And I'm going to mention again, if you want to double your business, if you want to create another business or open a second location, this location, number 1, needs to have wonderful flow. Opening a second location when you don't know what you're doing for the first number, where all the money's going, you're not paying attention, or everything's kind of messy. And no shame, my friend, no shame. It's a lot of retailers, are in that state. So we want to make sure it's clean. So just work on that. Just work on that and start doing the work to build this now. So if you do want to retire or you do want to sell or you do want to open a second location, we know where our numbers are. We're confident with our numbers. We feel organized. We don't feel messy. So far we have beautiful recipe cards all set up with our systems. And I'm saying recipe cards, but my friends, it could be anything, right? As long as you have documented systems. We have organized, not messy books. And then the third thing that's really important for, again, growth or expansion or selling is your brand strength and your reputation, your brand's reputation. This seems like a no-brainer. However, there's some checks and balances that you can check with this. So it's not vanity to be checking to make sure that you can demonstrate and show, oh, here is our brand's testimonials. Here is their loyalty program. And what I mean by vanity, it's not, keeping track of your social media growth. keeping track of your testimonials, making sure that you're asking for and having testimonials on your social media, on your Google business, on your websites. Those types of things do actually make a difference for the reputation of your business, right? They are important to our overall reputation and messaging and value of your business. Now, a bank is not going to give you money if you have, because of your brand reputation. However, somebody buying your business is going to. Somebody who's interested in helping you expand your business is going to. Somebody who is, or you even, understanding the next business. We want to open a second location in another town or down the road or in another part of our area. We need to have a solid reputation, right? So working on our reputation and the strength of our brand by staying in alignment of who we serve and what we do and all of our forward-facing marketing assets. So everything that's out in the wild is what we like to say. And again, I always recommend making sure that your forward-facing brand assets, so that's your social media, your website, anything that people could find. We teach our retailers inside my coaching programs to do brand audits on themselves. And so we have checklists and all of that inside, again, my Retailers Inner Circle program and my mastermind group. We are always looking at our forward-facing brand assets, but also, so I want you to do that. I want to make sure that you have a consistency amongst your brand and you're known for something and it's clean and it feels good and it's aligned with your, your mission and your brand. Everything has to feel aligned so that we can repeat that again if we want to do it or somebody knows exactly what they're buying. I also want to mention on that note, your reputation. And so that's your brand and the visibility and what it looks like, but actual reputation. This is, what do people say about you? So we always want to think people say good things about us, but we do want to make sure that we are known in our community. Let's just start with our community or with our staff as a company or as a brand that keeps their word. We stay in integrity, that we are a place that people want to work for and with. So that is all internal stuff. I don't have a checklist to tell you about that, but that is all things that we kind of have to check on ourselves with. So how is your brand perceived in the neighborhood? Do you have a good reputation about being friendly and, with your neighbors, with your vendors, with, or are you considered what are you considered? I don't want to say anything nasty about anybody, but are you considered she doesn't want to work with anybody and, that kind of thing? Because reputation ripples. Reputation ripples. You know it. You've heard it. We all know of that place up the street who can't keep staff. We all know of that place up the street who, I hear, she doesn't pay her bills. We all know that place up the street that has the reputation for, being, too tough or snotty when you come in or whatever the word is. I want you to think about your brand reputation in your town. It's not about your immediate right now. It's like, how do you want to be perceived and what is your, how do you stay in integrity and what are you known for and about in your community? So I don't have a metrics or, a checklist here. This is something that's heartfelt and you have to check in on yourself. But when you sell, you're selling your reputation. When you double your brand and you move down the street and down the road, you're growing, you're duplicating. And we need, again, we're going to go back to systems and integrity and brand and vision and alignment. We have to make sure that that is being duplicated maybe at the other location or where whatever's happening. So I want you to really think and reflect on that. We have a practice inside our Retailers Inner Circle, which is called the CEO date. And the CEO date is a 2-part thing. We do it at the beginning of the week, check in with our goals and plans and, do our CEO date. And there's also a reflection portion of that at the end of the week. And at the end of the week, one of the questions is, how did I show up this week? How did I show up as the CEO, as the visionary of the business? And one of those things that I always ask myself is did I show up with integrity and, alignment with my brand? Did I keep my word? Did I, am I treating my staff well? All of these things are how your brand is perceived by all the people. So that's called your reputation, my friend. And deep down inside, we all know what our reputation is, and we get to work on this. We always get to work on this. So what is your reputation in your community? And it does have value in growth or expansion or selling. So I really want you to think about that. So we have our systems, we have our financial health, we have our reputation and our brand's strength. And again, the brand's strength and the reputation goes to looking at actually looking at the metrics of the social media and all of those things. Number 4, the last thing on the list that you do need to have in place and work on. I highly this is a really important one. This is one that everybody rolls their eyes at me. And if you've been around and you've been listening, hey, thank you for being around and listening. You're going to laugh when I say this, but number 4 is your email list. Why? Why does Wendy keep talking about your email list? Again, going back to the retailers that I was talking about earlier, and the one that has to work on it and the one that has everything in check. Well, the one that has to work on it has a great business. However, she has no email list, no client list. She just hasn't bothered. If you are thinking of selling your business, if you want to retire, if you want to move on, if you want to expand, if you want to do anything, you need to have a customer list. You do not own your social media lists. I know I mentioned them about your brand reputation because that's proof of, that you're growing and people love you. But your actual email list has value. I know you might say, well, I have a loyalty program and there's emails there. And that is a great start. However, I don't sign up for a lot of loyalty programs. I'm just not a loyalty girl. It's not my thing. So you don't have my email list, but I do sign up for emails for businesses that I love. So think about that. So we also want to make sure that our email list is healthy and that we're nurturing it. We don't want to just take emails and then not do anything with it. So we want to make sure that we're using it, and that's part of our nurturing our emails. And I know some people just do not love, as a retailer, we're busy and we don't love it. If people put their hand up and say they want to be on your email list, they want to be on your email list. So that's not a decision for you to make. However, and we have podcasts where I talk about emails, and we had a great guest on, and there's lots of reasons to keep talking about emails. However, for the purpose of this, I want to just let you know that you are responsible to grow your email list. I'm going to make you do that this year. Finish this year through the holiday season, all these people in your business, start gathering emails. So start building that list or grow your existing list. It's really imperative. So I could go on and on about email. However, and I know that it's a sore spot for a lot of people. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I want you to grow your email list, because that is a list you can hand over to me if I want to buy your business. And you can say, here's a bunch of loyal people who love us, and they're on our email list because we're awesome. Here they are. So your email list has value. Other than that, there's no email. There's no customer list. Okay. I know we're running a little long, my friends. I want to thank you for listening in through this whole podcast. I am going to remind you our four areas that we want to make sure that we are working on. We're leveling up. We're organizing. Again, they don't have to be perfect. No one's perfect. None of us are perfect. We do want to make sure we have these 4 things in place. So we want to have systems and our operations in place. We want to make sure that we have those recipe cards, as I mentioned, and that we are, looking at all of our systems and how we do things around here, and we have them documented out of your head onto paper. Get your staff to help you with that. Get your team to list it out. Start living documents is what we call inside our Inner Circle program. It's living documents. They're always changing, right? We're always changing how we do things. So it's a living document, which is fine. Policies and procedure manuals, shop standards, have shop standards. We have an entire masterclass of 5 videos inside my program, the Retailer's Inner Circle, that explain what shop standards are. And shop standards are super important. Anyway, that all goes with your systems and operations. The next part is your financial health. Be organized. not messy. Have your POS system, have a financial system, whether it's Xero or QuickBooks. Keep it clean, keep it like professional, keep it updated, make sure that it makes sense, make sure you're looking at it, make sure that it's shareable at some point in time. We also want to make sure our reputation and our brand strength, that we are staying aligned and checking in on that all the time. We want to make sure that we can look at that and really make sure that we could hand that over to somebody and we're really proud of it. And number 4 is an email list. So I'd want to encourage you to take your action step today, if you want homework, is to look at each one of those areas, and on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you rate yourself? Just rate yourself. Nobody's perfect. No one has all of those all organized all the time. Again, we're always working on all of these things. And ask yourself maybe one thing that we could do in this quarter, Q4. I know you're busy, but we're working and we're moving into, we're getting ready for Q1. We're getting ready for 2025. We're getting ready for the next year. What are things that you can be working on that are simple, or where is the first step you want to take with each one of these areas? So my friend, I hope you found this helpful today. I'd love to continue the conversation. Jump over to my Instagram and tell me if this was helpful for you. That would be helpful to me. Again, you all know I talk to podcasts. I talk on my podcast. It's me and my mic. I love continuing the conversations. Jump into my DMs. Send me an email anytime, wendy@wendybatten.com. I love hearing from you. We send out a weekly email with the podcast attached. Reply to that. If you're not on my email list, I'd love you to be on my email list. You can sign up for our email list in the show notes. We'll definitely have that for you over on my website at wendybatten.com. If you need support in any of these areas and you want to expand some of these things and you're like, Wendy, I don't know where to start, join us. There's the mastermind group. We have the Retailers Inner Circle program, probably like the easiest, it's the easiest way to jump in and grab all these masterclasses. They're all available on demand. Recently, somebody said to me, I love the Inner Circle because it's like a pantry and I can go in and get whatever I want, nibble on this, nibble on that. What do I need? And I just love that visual. I'm a very creative, visual person. So we have a pantry full of workshops, masterclasses, education for you to come in. We also have a forum for you to just ask a question, like ask, and we'll either direct you to the pantry or we will answer your question for you, or you can join us. In the Retailers Inner Circle, we have a monthly live coaching session. You can come to our roundtable once a month. It's just me and some really cool members that hang out and I answer any question that comes up and we talk about topical retail things. So if that's of interest to you, this is a great time to join us. I would love to have you inside that group, and I do private coaching as well. So there you go. No reason to stay stuck, my friend. Or not stuck, but no reason not to elevate. How about it's not about being stuck. It's about expansion and getting more from your business and more, just feeling great and more confident about all of these areas in your business. Okay, my friends. I know I've been talking a lot today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for listening. And we will be back next week, same time, same place. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you were here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.